somebody. Send it to somebody. Forward it to somebody right now. Send them the link. Tell somebody to get online. Stand with me as we put our hands together and welcome the beautiful, the one and only Miss Natassia Wright, co-founder of Mind and Food Internationals and ambassador to nations. God bless you.
Women of Faith Summit 2022. What's going on here? Good morning, Women of Faith 2022. Good morning, Women of Faith 2022. All right. Guys, let me tell you something. It is a pleasure and an honor to be in the presence of God. So we're not lazy this morning. We're not in need this morning. Our Father is in our midst. So we are going to worship all day long. Not true? Beautiful. You may have your seats. Again, it is such an honor to be here this morning. I want to give honor where honor is due to the visionary of this wonderful conference and her team. Let's give it up for the evangelist out there, Stoddart. This woman of God works so hard to ensure the advancement of our Father's kingdom. And we must give honor to such leaders. And so I just want to big her up this morning. I also want to give a wonderful round of applause to my dear husband who is with me. Yes. I must tell you, at a point in my life where no church door could find me, my husband brought me back to church. And so he deserves his applause too. Also give honor to all the other speakers, ministers today. And I want you to give yourself a round of applause for being here. We could have been elsewhere doing other things. It's a Saturday morning. Some of us have clothes to wash, children to put together, all these different activities, but you chose to honor God and you chose to come and hear his word. And so for those who came here hungry, I want to let you know that you're not leaving empty. You will be filled today. If you're seeking for that breakthrough, if you're working and you're pursuing that breakthrough, I pray that before you leave today, before lunchtime even come, I pray you'll receive it in Jesus' name. Yes. Now, guys, I must tell you how I feel so set up by the evangelist this morning. First of all, she gave me the theme, living in faith in times of fear. And not only that, when I came here, I found out I'm the first speaker. So I said, what a way God and Althea set me up this morning. But it is going to be a blessing. It's for a reason, and let me tell you why. My life represents faith in times of fear. I know all of us know the meaning of faith, because we hear it over and over again, but I want you to repeat it with me, because I know you know it. It is the substance of things, yes, and the evidence of things. She's on my class bright this morning. I'm so happy. It is also, according to any dictionary, having complete trust and faith in someone or something. Because not everybody believes in a person, Some people believe in a thing, right? Well, let me tell you something. I have learned that I had to walk in faith from a very early age. From the age of 10 years old, I remember coming home from primary school one day. I'm in fifth grade. And a classmate met me halfway and he said, Natassia, Your house are burned down. And I thought to myself, something is wrong with this young man. Hold on 1 second. Musicians, I didn't big you up. Good morning. All right. So I thought he was joking. Guys, by the time I got to my lane mouth, or you would say where I live, I noticed a few things. First, I saw my great-grandmother on the side of the road crying. Then my granduncle, he looked so out of it, rubbing his head on the side of the road. And when I got to my house, there was no house. And I thought to myself, it couldn't be true. Guys, do you know what it is for a 10-year-old to leave home and come back home and can't even find clothes to put on? Do you know? Having to go beg a call to call my father and say, Daddy, the house burned down. He came for me and he says, you smell of smoke. I have to find somebody to give you something to put on. You need to bathe. Guys, I watched my relatives, about 10 of us in that board house that burnt down, having to find place to sleep in one room. And we had to make it work. 8 months after that, I came home to worse news. This time, I bust the yard gate, and my great-grandmother says to me, Sade, which is my nickname, you know, hear your father dead. Can you imagine a 10-year-old being told that? My father was a police officer, and he was shot and killed in the line of duty, execution style. He died on the spot. And my father was my world. At 10 years old, although not clinically diagnosed, I was very much depressed because I was walking around asking God, why didn't you take me instead of him? Or I would say, I'm just waiting for somebody to come pinch me because this must be a dream. It can't be true. God couldn't leave me with my mother. It was so rough. Everything my mother cussed for. If she come home and the plate now washes, one big ruckus. She don't want to see me outside. And she upset for everything. God bless her heart. That was great parenting, I must tell you. So I had to put in that piece. So for the teenagers who think your parents are too miserable, let me tell you something. I'm giving you 5 to 7 years. You're going to understand why. Right? Honor your parents. Guys, it so happened that past primary school, past for Woolmer's High School for girls. Nobody now clap, but me clap for Woolmer's. Woo! All right. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. We have our own day, okay? All right. Guys, I'm fast forwarding the story because I have a whole sermon here to preach. By fifth form, my mother had moved. She got married. So my brother and I were living with our stepfather. So we moved from Almontown, the poverty-stricken ghetto. You see the generational curses repeating over and over and the cycle and wondering if you're going to become a product of that. I left that. One Saturday, my mother came home from doing her errands. You know how Saturday go. She came home with an asthma attack, which was a usual occurrence for us because my mother would experience this quite often. This time, I couldn't go with her to KPH because it was just my little brother at home, so I had to stay with him. So I got a taxi for her, watched my mother walk out, go in the taxi. That was the last time I saw my mother alive. I'm 16 years old. Father died at 10. My mother died. What day did I say my mother died? No, that's age. You know, not listen. You get a wrong bang a while ago. What day was it? All right, I get a ticket. I'm going to give you a sticker later, you hear? I'll find one of Ami book and get a sticker for her. She's listening. Monday morning, I had 8 CXCs to start sitting. You know why I had to do that Monday morning? Because I explain to you, sometimes when I see people, I look good and thing, and I say, she come from, the upper echelons of society. I have to bear out my heart to you to let you know that the same God you trust in, I've been trusting in since I was a child. I had to walk past my relatives crying and mourning and screaming on the floor that Monday morning, put my uniform on and walk out, leave them. When I went to school, because persons had heard, and I was telling them the story, the crying started. Guys, I sat my exams, most of them crying. Some of them, amen, some of them, I don't know how them read the paper because there appear tears and nose knot and ink and everything mixed up in a one, but I did those exams. Because my mother kept telling me before she died, she said, Sade, you don't have to pass all 8, I just wanted to pass 6. So even in my stress and my mourning and grief, all I kept hearing was just get 6. Weeks after graduation came, I was so down. I saw pictures of my graduation. I was this fat. They told us in graduation, when we were singing our graduation song, for us to stand and face our parents. I don't have to say more. By the time exams came out, I said, you know what? Me not go for nothing. I'm not going. I don't have to go because I'm sure the results aren't good. But my grade coordinator, I figured she thought I would have been fearful. She called me and she said, Natassia, I want to give you the good news because everybody call me Natassia. I don't correct a soul. It don't matter to me. I must tell you. And she said, you're going to be so happy. And I said, happy for what I fail. Guys, I ended up with 6 2s and 2 1s. After my mother died, my grandmother, who was living in the States, had came home, and this is my mother's mother. And so she was taking care of my brother and I. 1 year after my mother died, that grandmother died from cancer. I've seen poverty. I've been molested. I know gang violence. I've seen the young people I've grown up with still on the street in Almond Town today. Who not dead? Prison. Young ladies not doing much with their life. I want to tell you something that, listen, every man has gotten his own share of fear. And so I believe that I am more than qualified to talk to you about living in faith in times of fear. Over the past 24 months, most of us have gone through so many different things that right now, your faith is hanging on by a thread. You're not going to agree. You're not going to say it out loud because you may be afraid of those around you. But you have gone through some things, some betrayal, hurt, pain, all kinds of things happening. Your faith wobbling. But we thank God today that we are going to learn to walk even more strongly in faith. I'm happy you're ready to receive it. Boy, the gentlemen at front are worried for me now because of the heels, but in Jesus' name I'm covered. Now let me share 4 things about what has happened past 24 months. People say we are in the post-pandemic era, but you still have persons who are still suffering because of what has happened to them before. Who haven't lost their jobs, lost relatives. Who haven't lost relatives have had to face the one environment becoming 4 in 1. Is your church, is your school, is your children's school, is your workplace. It's everything in one. And as simple as that sounds, that have driven many crazy. I want to share 4 foundational things before I go further. The first thing is the pandemic that we have just gone through is the worst physical pandemic since the Spanish flu in 1918. There's nobody in here from 1918, I'm sure. So none of you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about, but it's the worst since then. Also, the pandemic that we are just emerging from has been the worst financial state that the world has been in since the Great Depression. That again, that's in the 1900s. None of us experienced that, right? No. We also experienced the greatest time of social upheavals since the 1960s. How many of us witnessed death on our phones, on our laptops, tablets, TVs? It was televised for everybody to see. And people protested over social injustice. And people felt wrong, and because we all were at a standstill to see, it has affected all of us, whether we are in that place or not. 4th foundational point, everybody is tired. Talk to me, Naman. Not just physically fatigued, emotionally tired. Every alley, yes, sister, every alley tired. By the way, sister, you have to give me that skirt because it matches my shoes, okay? We'll talk afterwards. Yes. Every alley, fatigued, tired, stressed out. You know who tired? Me too, but check the church leaders. Your prayer warrior, your pastor, your minister has had to deal with your problems on top of theirs. The weight of that is so burdensome, a lot of you in here wouldn't even know. If you understood, you wouldn't be complaining about them. Because they've had to fight your demons and theirs. Everybody tired, professionally tired. The great resignation took place because people were just leaving their jobs. They couldn't take any more. They just have to move on. My God, frustrated. Now here's the thing, when you are about to or you want to live in faith in times of fear, before we even go into how you can live by faith, you need to have the right perspective about the fear. Wayne Dyer says, once you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, when you see Natassia Wright here, you must have pen and paper because I teach. That's my disclaimer. And there's something that says the faintest of ink is better than the greatest of memory. You don't know what next week is going to be like. Some of you are going to meet up on some of the biggest opportunities you've ever seen. You can't say, I never said it. You can't say, I never said it. The theme of the conference is, oh, you guys didn't know? It's crazy, unshakable faith. People who do not need crazy, unshakable faith. And so I'm just preparing you for what is to come. You have to change your perspective. First thing you have to do is to educate yourself. Hosea 4 verse 6 says, my people perish Class, me I go mark no absent, you know. My people perish. Lack of knowledge. We're all children of God. Let me tell you a little secret. The enemy doesn't play fair. The enemy does not play fair. He plays very dirty. He will play you and win you on the turf that you are most ignorant on. He will play you and win you in the areas that you are most ignorant in. So you know God well. Let me attack your children. Because you've neglected parenting. Because you've just been in church all day. All right, you know God well. Let me attack the finances. And let me see how she's going to cope. All right? You know finance well. Let me attack the marriage and see what she's made of. Guys, I'm sick and tired of seeing people in the world doing better than us. And let me put that into context. Because I know some of you are going to be very upset, but let me put that into context. God's people should be knowledgeable in all these areas. I'm not saying that you're going to get it right all the time. I'm saying to you, if you need to work on your marriage, go on a marriage conference, go to a marriage seminar, right? If you need to work on your finances, you call somebody who you know is doing well and say, so how you budget again? What should I budget in? How should I set up my thing? You know, I want to start a business. What kind of advice you can give me? Guys, educate yourself. Some of us will sit and we say, oh, nobody good in a politics and nobody good in a business. Guys, I've heard something. Even the other day, somebody said something about me. I'm sold out to some kingdom, something. Let me tell you something. Oh, God, do this. It is my faith in God and Him giving me the grace to walk out this life that has led me here. It's no sold out to nothing. It's hard work and sacrifice. Educate yourself. Some of us are anointed to sit in seats that you can't even imagine, but you're not going to get it unless you educate yourself. You won't get it if you don't put yourself in there strategically. And so when you're going through your times of trouble and fear, if you find that certain things going, you know, it's not going right, don't be afraid to pick up your phone and call somebody. The University of YouTube is free. I know you guys have been watching African movies on YouTube and all kind of different series and everything else you shouldn't be doing. Use it to educate yourself. The second thing is you have to be flexible. You have to have the bend but not break mentality. What is that? You know, like a palm tree, like a coconut tree. When the wind comes, when the hurricane comes, it doesn't break. Even if a branch falls off. You know what it does? Or if it's really rough, but afterwards, it straightens back up. Learn to adapt. When things not going right, learn to adapt. Say, all right, I'm going through a little financial thing right now. Let me try and see if I can tighten the budget. Right? Bang your belly. Right? Let me see if I can downsize a little. Right? Because here's the thing, and this is key. You may want to write it down. Here's the thing. The storms of life will come. But if a storm take you out, you can't strive. You have to survive a storm in order to thrive. You got that? Sometimes the greatest success is surviving what you're going through right now. The race is not for the swift, but for those who can. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if a storm comes and it takes you out, you won't get the opportunity to get back on your feet. And so take the necessary measures to just adapt, man. Don't be rigid. Try and see how you can make it work. And we're talking about, again, adjusting your perspective to turbulent times and times of fear. There are persons in this room right now that are going through things they would never tell a soul. It's all right. Don't lift your hand or nothing. Just nod. You would not tell a soul. Your pastor won't know. The person beside you won't know. You'll just keep it in. If you can survive the storm, you will get to the thriving part. Clap if you feel it, because some people don't want to talk, that they're going through things that they feel nobody understands. But guys, if you just allow the storm to even tilt you a little bit but not break you, trust me, you get a gold star for that. Because there are many persons who have gone through what you've gone through, them dead. There are many persons who have gone through what you've gone through and they're mad. There are persons who have gone through what you've gone through and they've quit. Sometimes give yourself a pat on the back and keep going. All right, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, which was what I taught on the last time I was here. There is a time for everything. And a season for every activity under the heavens. Paul says in Philippians 4 verse 12, he says, I know what it is like to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. What is that saying? Learn to adapt. Learn to adapt. Third one, don't exaggerate your circumstances. So when you're learning to have a different perspective about what you're going through, you have to learn also not to exaggerate it. You're going through a little period, your big son a give problem, him get into trouble. Please don't take up the phone and call everybody and tell them. Don't tell them say him walkless and him gone to the dogs and you're done with him. Don't do that. Don't exaggerate. Who was Paul? By the way, who was Paul? Who was Paul? Who was Moses? Stop writing people off, including your children. You will speak, you will get what you speak. And so every day you get up, you say it as though it were. Stop speaking and putting out negativity out there, because life and death is in the... All right. Don't exaggerate. Don't turn a molehill into a mountain with your mouth. Don't turn a molehill into a mountain with your mouth. In Numbers 13, 1 to 33, we hear the story of Joshua and Caleb. Well, not the 12 spies, which only 2 of them came back with a good report. Everybody else had something negative to say, right? Don't be those. Spreading fear and slander and worry and everything to people. Speak positivity. The 4th thing is you must control your emotions. We love God and we do church well, but we don't treat people good. We don't treat people good. So if I wake up this morning and I'm not in a good mood, I don't have to talk to you. And if you say something I don't like, I can say something back that you won't like, and I'll tell you, oh, that's just how I am. It's unacceptable. Manage your emotions. There are many of you who will get great opportunities, but because you keep on and mash up the good relationship, them, God put people in your way to open a door for you. You say, "Chow, them are not Christian, make them go away. I ain't nothing with them." And you know what happened? You know what happened, people of God? The door just take time close. Manage your emotions. Not everything that you think should be said. Not every way you feel, you must take it to heart. Let me tell you something, feelings change every 5 minutes. So you have to be careful of what it is that you're doing. Listen to this, in times of fear, don't take everything and say, "Oh, you're worried, you're stressed out, you're going dead." No, it's just a feeling you're going through, right? Fear is a feeling. Proverbs 25:27-28 says, "Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control." Let me say something quickly because I have about 10 minutes to wrap up the points about living in faith. You see, for the leaders who are sitting in here, who are online, you of all persons should know emotional intelligence. There are many of us as leaders make people see church door and walk past it. Don't you know what you say and do will be judged even more harshly? People are God's priority. So we as leaders should make people our priority. Be careful and do not allow your feelings to run your life. Let's talk about living in faith. I have to do this quickly. Living in faith in times of fear, you have to see opportunity in everything. I want to share a story quickly. 2020, when the pandemic came, the first case was in the end of March. Middle to the end of March, like the 24th or so. I was made redundant the 31st of March, 2020. Just when the lockdown started. I didn't know what I was going to do. I love you. I didn't know what I was going to do. I said, "God, how this going to work?" All my engagements canceled. No job. God worked it out. You see, 1 year after, I was in the bedroom and I got an idea. Godly, divine, inspired idea. Today, Mind Food has over 80 staff members because of that one idea I got. The one idea I got during the pandemic. It was for the kingdom of God and for the persons who missed it. Elevation took place during that time. Romans 8, verse 28, it says, "And we know that in all things," not some things, in all things, "God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Not what you want, not your desires, his purpose. The second thing is you have to maintain a positive attitude. I'm tired of seeing the long faces, people of God. When people see us, they're supposed to say, Jesus, sweetie, mo and try him. You look so good. God is doing you so well. Tell me about your God. Maintain a positive attitude. For the plane that's nose is turned up, it's going to newer heights. Listen to me carefully, people. For the plane that nose is turned up, it is going to newer heights. For the plane that's nose is turned down, you are heading for a crash. Your attitude determines your altitude. There is no position, nothing you can possibly do, and you will get promoted, you will be seen if you don't have a good attitude. If you want to live in fear, guys, what if I said at 18 years old that, listen, my life done. No mother, no father, I left for struggle with my brother, how me I gonna make it? I never had to go to university. In fact, I never had to have any ambition. I had a reason to not have ambition. I could have been careless and have both 5 kids. Nothing wrong with children. They are blessings from the Lord. I could have done that. But I had faith. Substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Natassia then never knows that Natassia was going to become UN ambassador and have Her Excellency on her name. And the real Her Excellency on her name. I had no idea. I had to live out faith. I had to take bold action. That's the next point because my time is going. Bold action. I had to take risk. My husband and I sacrificed so much. Not jealous of me because of my shoes, because I work hard. I work hard, and there are many times I wanted to sleep, and I say, I'm not going to sleep because my portion is generational wealth, and we must get it. Guys, I'm saying to you, take risk. Anything worthwhile, you have to take risk. For maintaining a positive attitude, remember Philippians 4 verse 8. I learned this in first grade. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, you know all of it. So come off of social media a little bit, read your Bible, listen to the sermon, keep up here saying, guard it. Take bold faith. What's the name of this conference? The theme, what's the theme? Crazy, unshakable faith. And we know faith without works is dead. Evangelist, I'm on my final point. Where is she? Okay, great, because I want to be invited next year again. So I'm behaving myself, right? Final point. When tall buildings are being erected, like this, but you know this is nothing compared to some buildings, right? Yeah? Pegasus is very small compared to some huge buildings. When these buildings are to be made, they have to have foundation, but before foundation, they have to actually dig deep into the ground. So they pass the water table and they go down to something named bedrock. That's something in the earth's crust. It does not move. They build pillars, push it all the way down in the earth. It's with steel, fill it up with concrete, attach it to the foundation. No matter which earthquake, no matter which flood, no matter which storm, it now move. I'm telling you, it's the same with you. You need to lean on the rock of all ages. He's not going to change. No matter what comes today, no matter what comes tomorrow, the rock of all ages is here for us. He is our everlasting source. Be like a skyscraper attached to something so deep that no matter what storm comes, can't push you off. Can't throw you off. Isaiah 26 verse 4 says, trust in Adonai forever, for the Lord Adonai is a rock of all ages. Women of Faith 2022. You're not here by chance. And men, excuse me, give it up for our men. All right. You are not here by chance. What you will witness today is only setting you up for what awaits you tomorrow. God bless you guys.
My God, come on, somebody stand and put your hands together for the beautiful Miss Natassia Wright. Come on, man, you can't do better than that. You need to be like a skyscraper. Come on and get attached to something so